thanks to the supporters and channel member Tim Babbage. Oh, what a start to the season we've had. Absolutely nothing can go wrong from here. Yeah, no, I'm willing to commit. I'm willing to promise. We are going up as champions, Mrs. Wearmouth. Yeah, I'll quit if we don't. Hello and welcome to part 25 of Holiday Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have, I guess, the closest thing we're going to get this season with a top of the table clash against a team. I mean, there's very little chance that I'm going to be able to say their name correctly. Xerez? It can't be that. No idea. I'm sure you'll let me know down in the comments section how we actually say their name. And then we're also going to be playing. I mean, I've just seen. I can't. Look at us. I can't show you a match against the team bottom of the table. This will be a 40-minute video because we'll win 15-0. We might skip forward. When do we play Malaga? This is the sort of thing I could have planned before that. I mean, we might jump all the way forward to play Malaga as the second one because they're the other team that are quite good. So we might be kind of checking in at 2 points over the course of this first half of the season. Depending on, I mean, if we lose here, I'll probably show you the next game just to make myself feel good about myself so I sleep more comfortably tonight. But as you can see, we have been, we've been okay this season. We've been pretty good. We've won every single match so far, most of them very, very comfortably. We've rarely conceded a goal. And the league table looks pretty spectacular. One thing to be aware of is that Xerez, the team we're playing today, do have a Kevin Carlos of their own. They've got a guy who's scoring at more than a goal a game as well, and is actually operating on a higher average rating than Carlos is. So this is probably going to be our biggest test of the season, away from home against this lot. If we pick up a win here, if we make it 10 from 10, and open that gap at the top of the table up to 9 points after 10 games, I think at that point we're fairly safe to say we're going to be okay this season. But a defeat here, and it does mean that we have to ask questions for the first time this season. So this is the team for this match. We've got Romero in goal, a back four of Gonzalez, Joffrey, David and Carrington. Sai Maggio at the base of the midfield. You might be asking yourself, why on earth is Sai Maggio at the base of your midfield today, Kev? He played there in the last game and scored 2 goals. So don't really feel like I can drop him. It does mean Alex Boxall playing a little bit further forward. I've abandoned the dream of box to Boxall. He suits playing as a playmaker much more. So he's slotting into that deep lying playmaker role alongside Rabiot, who has been fantastic. I would say Rabiot has been our best and most important player this season, despite all the goals of Kevin Carlos. And Kevin Carlos, as you can see, last 5 games has actually gone off the boil considerably. Martinez Perez on the left, Fakal on the right, a rejuvenated Fakal on the right, who's averaging a 7.4 so far this season, back to his very best. And then Kevin Carlos up front. He is being pushed all the way by Ivan Luis, who has 4 goals from his first 2 starts. He started 2 games and got 3 Man of the Match awards, a 7.49. There's a chance this guy is even better than Kevin Carlos. So we've got an embarrassment of riches. We'll start with Carlos because it seems like madness not to when he's the top scorer in the division. But if things don't go well, we've got a guy who's got plenty of firepower of his own who can come on and replace him as and when he's needed. The guy we're keeping an eye on for the opposition, I'm not going to click on him because I don't want the game to know that I've noticed. But it's Manuel up front for that. Keep an eye on him. He's the guy who scores almost as often as Kevin Carlos does. And I imagine he's going to fancy his chances from this. But Romero is there to pluck the ball out of the sky. And Romero has probably been signing of the season so far. He is such a difference in goal for us. Having a full-size goalkeeper, albeit only 6 foot tall. So I would argue 6 foot is probably still not full-size for a goalkeeper. He's still a little on the little size as far as goalkeepers are concerned. But he is such a good goalkeeper compared to what we've had to put up with throughout the entirety of the save so far. And that is wonderful work from little Kev Carlos. Lovely stuff from him. And both of these 2 new fullbacks, Gonzalez and Carrington, have both been excellent as well. All around, the new look team this year is looking very, very good. And hopefully we can show it against Rabiu trying to burst out of central midfield. It ends up falling to Boxall, who plays it down to Perez, and now Gonzalez drills it across the penalty area, and there is Kevin Carlos, and there is the opening goal of the game. We're 1-0 up away from home against theoretically the next best team in the division. A win here. We're home and dry, not even a third of the way through the season. No one's catching us. We'd be 9 points clear. I've never heard of such a thing. Unassailable. Inassailable? Unassailable? Get your dictionaries out, boys and girls, and let me know down in the comments if it's unassailable or inassailable. Unassailable? Uncatchable? Comment section. Let's get some. We love a comment here. Get some comments in. Let me know. Look at that. That league table looks absolutely beautiful at the moment, although we have given away a corner here just before half-time, but Gerard Gonzalez is there to head clear, and Fakal, as soon as he committed himself to that, it was clear he was never getting there. He's given away a penalty, and now Romero needs to show just how good he is just before half-time. It is the guy we picked out before the match as the main man goal scorer for them. Both teams have had their more than a goal a game striker score in this game. I mean, it's setting itself up nicely for the second half. Fakal, I've sung his praises for the first time in about 10 episodes pre-match, and he goes and does a thing like that to me. I mean, this was supposed to be the season where by now Ivan was supposed to have taken his spot in the team. Oh, by the way, on the topic of Ivan, we've given all of the Ivans their surnames. So this is Ivan, who was the centre-back. This was always his real name. And Ivan Mutt is Ivan the winger. It was just getting too confused with two Ivans breaking into the team and really starting to establish themselves, especially when I was sometimes playing them both down the right hand side. It just started getting to the point where it was confusing my tiny brain. So from now on, all Ivans get a surname, unless we ever get to the point where we just have one Ivan, I guess. Joffrey is tiring though, so Ivan can come on for him. We just swap Christian David over to the other side, and we need to do something. I think the something we probably need to do is get Simaggio off the pitch. He had his moment, and it's not a moment that's really working out for him in this game. And in fact, I'm going to take off Martinez Perez as well, bring on Cucurella, and just go to last season's midfield three. And in fact, that's the front six that at its best was our best front six last year. So let's get those guys back in the positions that worked so well for them previously, offer a little bit of encouragement as well, and then watch them all get really tired and have to make a couple more changes. So I guess this is where Ivan Luis comes on for Kevin Carlos, and Ivan Mutt comes in on the right-hand side for Fakal. I guess a draw here is fine. We're away from home against the next best team in the league. It maintains a 6-point gap. We obviously would like to have won it, but the key important thing is not losing it, I guess. We're still unbeaten, 10 games unbeaten at the start of the season. We'll take that. We'll take a big thumbs up. Look at the thumbs go. We'll take a big thumbs up. And I think what we will do now is jump ahead to Malaga. I'd love to show you Elche B, because they were a team that we had a lot of rivalry with early on, but they're rubbish now. So we'll now do, through the magic of YouTube time travel, we're going to stay in Benidorm. Malaga's coming to us. Come along, Malaga. Come and get me. There we go. Time travel complete. As you can see, we've played some football matches. We've actually drawn a couple of them, including one against old enemies Elche B, but we are still comfortably clear at the top of the table, 6 points clear. If you want to see the in-betweeny bits in a little more detail, we'll have a bonus in-betweeny bit video that's going to be out on lollujo 2 tomorrow morning, so you can go and check that out so you can see in detail what's gone on. I mean, we definitely found out that Sevilla C really are pretty poor, and Elche have started to climb back up the league again. But we're playing Malaga, who were third before the time travel, are still third now, and we would like to pick up a win. The other thing that's gone on is a lot of our loan players. In fact, it is now all of our loan players. So all the players we had in on loan have been recalled by their parent clubs because we just weren't using them. So we are on quite a small squad. Once we get to the 1st of January, we've got a couple of things to do. We need to bring in some more loans to fill in some of these squad gaps. We need to set a couple of players to release because we need to be able to offer Ivan the defender. Ivan Such needs a new contract because he's still on his youth contract and is our best defender. So we need him tying down to a new deal on the 1st of January. So in order to do that, because we're over the wage budgets at the moment, we need to set some players to release. So there's a few options. If we have a look at who's out of contract, obviously we want to be keeping Romero, Carlos, Carrington, Isra, Gonzalez. Okay, there's quite a few we want to keep, but there's loads there we could move on. Maggio, Jimenez, Tafala, maybe even Christian David. Maybe we sacrifice him to be able to keep Ivan. So there's plenty to be done. But first, let's go beat Malaga. And this is the team we're going to put out there to try and do exactly that. It's Romero in goal, a back four of Gonzalez, Joffrey, Ivan and Carrington, Boxall at the base of the midfield, Isra and Cucurella ahead of him, Rabiu on the left, Fakal on the right, Luis up front because Kevin Carlos last game wasn't so hot. Really poor performance in the last game from Kevin Carlos. He's starting to get Ignacio Pierce syndrome where he has a little purple patch, then disappears for a bit. You can see he did it at the start of the season. Phenomenal. Had a couple of off games. Phenomenal again. Off game. So let's rest him during his off games. And it gives us the opportunity once again to play Ivan Luis, who, if he got a run in the team, would be just as good and would score just as many goals. So it's not even a downgrade. It's just a case of trying to play the one that is in the best form at the right time. So that's why we play him. So let's go and do a football. A win here pushes us that little bit further away from the likes of Malaga, who are looking to chase us. And of course, we are pretty much at the halfway point of the season, still unbeaten, and gets us that one step closer towards the promised land as well. We want that automatic promotion this year. We don't want to be messing around in the playoffs again. We've got a nice little cushion starting to form between us and these chasing teams. And the last thing we want to do is start dropping points, start drawing games that we should be winning. That's kind of what happened against Elche. We were ahead in that match. We really should have won it, and we just got a little bit sloppy and let them back in at the end of the game. And with our squad starting to shrink with these loan players going back to their parent clubs, rotation is becoming a little more challenging, and we are dangerously teetering towards, if we get an injury or two, we start to have a problem, and we don't want to be back there again. That's where we were last season, and that's what ultimately cost us, because last season we should have gone up. Just like this year, I think it's safe to say at this point, we should get promoted this year. If we don't, it's all down to bad luck. I'll take no personal responsibility for it, but we are on the attack here. Boxall knocks it down to Isra, and now Cucurella is in. The three midfielders all combining, but Cucurella couldn't keep his shot down. It took a big deflection, goes behind for a corner, but now we have the opportunity to take the lead from the corner. It's going to be Rabiu to take, our tallest player. What did Ivan just do there? It looked like a half overhead kick, but then he didn't go over his head. He just kind of stuck his leg up to head height. The boy's got some flexibility. That's why we want to give him a new contract. But it didn't lead to a goal. Much sadness. Remains 0-0. And now Malaga on the attack. And we need to be very careful not to give away a sloppy penalty or a sloppy goal here. It's the sloppy goal. Romero looking a little bit lost. That particular chance has caught him out a couple of times. That seems to be his kryptonite. The ball going over his head and coming back off the crossbar. He doesn't seem to know what to do when it happens. And it's caught him out again there. It's something that Fajardo used to struggle with a little bit as well because of his tiny arms. But Romero shouldn't have that problem because he's a full-size goalkeeper almost. But he did get caught out there, and we're behind him. We can't afford to lose this game. That makes me sad. After a run of very good results, this makes me a little bit sad. And I don't want to be sad. I want to be happy. Happy smile times is what we're looking for. So we'd like a goal before half time. Let's offer a little bit of encouragement to try and grab an equaliser just on the stroke of half time. I think we are getting little Kev warming up sooner rather than later. Luis has not played well at all up front today. The occasion might be a little bit too much for him as a young player. But little Kev loves the big occasion. And this feels like a day for him to come on and get a second half hat-trick. Although this is an opportunity here. I mean, it was a good cross from Fakal, but Lewis was absolutely nowhere near it. And that was pretty poor from him in the end. But Cucurella, what a goal! Oh, my word. What a goal. That's the benefit of having these fancy attacking midfielders who we've converted to centre mids. They're sometimes a little bit lacking defensively, but when they get an opportunity in the right position, they can do the fancy stuff. It's 1-1. I think that's Cucurella's first goal of the season. He's been a little bit in and out of the team. We've played Rabiot in that role quite a lot this year with Martinez Perez in on the left, but Cucurella joining forces with Isra and Boxall for last season's midfield, the classic midfield three again today for the big game, and he has not disappointed. Although once again, Romero getting caught out by the ball coming back off the crossbar. I mean, it's quite a niche weakness to have, because if you can get the ball to come back off the crossbar, you should probably just try and score. But it does seem to be the one that catches him out more than anything. Luis still really poor. I think we probably take him off now with half an hour to go. He's having an absolute stinker of a game. So Kevin Carlos is going to come on and play up front, just to try and generate something a little bit different. Give him half an hour to run at this Malaga defence. He's a different kind of striker, a lot more physical. Hopefully can cause a few problems. Rabiot is also tiring, so Martinez Perez is going to come on for him. And Carrington is having a rare poor game, so Jimenez can come on to play right back. We're going to offer encouragement. Again, we can't. We've only just done it. Malaga seem like a decent side. This is very similar to what we saw in the last game in the video, in the Elche game that I've just played. These teams who are around us, they are pretty much on our level. There's a lot of teams in this league who we can absolutely steamroller over, and I think we do that better than some of the other good teams. But when we actually come up against the good teams, this is a problem we've had a lot through this save. When we actually play the better teams, we do struggle a little bit more than you'd expect us to based on the league position. Right, we've got Ivan, the winger, coming on for Fakal. And then I think we're going to put Joffrey out to left back and get Christian David on at the back as well. So all 5 substitutions made. I don't want to demand more because I think we've played quite well. It's just a little bit frustrating that neither of our strikers have turned up today when they've both been so good all year. They're probably close to 25 goals between them this season. Maybe Carlos is going to get an opportunity here before the end of the match. Martinez Perez, that's really poor. Again, he's another one who's been so good this season. That was so poor. Alex Boxall to Ivan. Ivan turns and runs. Is this the day he tells me that he's the better option on this right-hand side compared to Ivan Fakal? It is not, because it's a terrible cross. At least Fakal usually finds a home player. And now here's the late chance for Malaga. I don't know who that is chasing back. I think it's Christian David, and he does really, really well. Christian David with some excellent defensive work there to possibly save a point for us and save our current unbeaten record. Really good defensive work. That's why we keep him around, because purely as a defender, he's still the best pure defender that we've got. He just doesn't have the physicality, and Ivan does well to intercept. But for some reason, little Kev doesn't go with him. And there was no one for Ivan to deliver that to, and he's done well to win a corner. And this is probably last chance saloon. Isra with the corner. We've got other Ivan, big Ivan Such, who's scored 3 of these already this season. Couldn't get on the end of that one. Cucurella plays it out to Alex Boxall, who gives it to Joffrey. Someone just needs to hit it. Kevin Carlos can't get proper connection on it. But we're getting another opportunity. It is all home as we go into the final few minutes of this game. Isra now trying to carve something out. Cross from him. It's overhit. There's nothing that anyone's going to be able to do with that. But Boxall wins it back at the base of midfield. Plays it back over the top for Martinez Perez. Cross comes in. Cucurella's there again. And he's probably not the man we wanted to get on the end of a cross when we had Carlos in there. But Carlos has just he's been hiding a lot since he's come on. He just doesn't seem to really want the ball in these key areas. Have we got ourselves another stat padding guy who's great against the rubbish teams and disappears against the big ones? Because I'm fed up of having strikers like that. It seems like we've got 2 of them. We had a couple of them last year as well. Right, Ivan Such heads it out. I mean, straight back to the Malaga player. Oh, I thought Romero had kept it out, but it is a late winner for Malaga. And this is a potential indication of us starting to lose a little bit of steam. We've been unbeaten right up until this point, but we've had a couple of wobbles recently. We're losing options as loan players go back to parent clubs. We maybe haven't rotated as much as we should have. Players are starting to get a little tired out. And we have now picked up our first defeat of the season. It is just before the winter break. We're still 5 points clear of Malaga. We've got the first round of the cup to play, but then we are on winter break. So we've got a couple of weeks to regroup and hopefully get ourselves back into some form, back into some fitness. But there's just been a couple of little signs that it was coming, and then it came. It's still fine. We would have taken this at the start of the season. We're top of the league. We're about to hit the halfway point of the season and we're top of the league. 5 points clear. We've got the top scorer in the league who's scoring at more than a goal a game. There's not much to complain about. But that felt a lot like the end of last season, what we've just been through there. And I don't want to go through that again. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.